In today's episode, I want to give you a tool that's going to help you to become consistent in your performance in business, which is the secret to hitting your business goals. The tool we're going to be using today is called Standards. And being able to utilize standards is coming to a point in your life, and you'll come to this point many times, but to utilize standards, you get to a point in life where it's not dramatic. There's no announcements, there's no special occasion, there's no big speech. It's just a quiet decision, but that decision changes everything. And pay close attention, because it's a decision that most people never make, and that's why they find it hard to achieve the goals that they set, let alone the goals they set in business. And when they start failing on their goals, then they end up trying to get more focused, more motivated. And we already know that motivation is very, very unreliable. So let me show you how to use standards so that you could make the changes that you want in your life and in your business today. My name is Anthony Charles. I'm here to help you to turn your knowledge, your ideas, and your skills into real money. And we haven't got a lot of time, so let's get into it. There's a big difference between a goal and a standard. A goal says that I will give it my best. I'll do my very best. I'll give it everything I've got. A standard simply says, this is who I am. Goals are negotiable. That's why so many times people set their goals, but then they will negotiate with themselves and then they will talk themselves out of hitting their goals. Goals are negotiable, standards are not. When something becomes a standard in your life, it becomes part of who you are. So you stop debating with it. You don't argue with yourself. You don't wait until you're ready. You certainly don't wait until you feel motivated. You just act because it's no longer optional. It's just natural. At some point, successful people stop asking this question. And let me define success to you. Everybody's got their own definition of success. The best that I've heard is by Earl Nightingale of The Strangest Secret, where he said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal or goal. So, as I said, at some point, successful people, or people who are progressively realizing a worthy ideal or goal, they stop asking, how do I hit this goal? And they start asking themselves, what am I no longer willing to tolerate in myself? And that's a real shift, because when I'm working with people who are on our program, or I'm working one-to-one with them, they will set themselves goals. And I'll say, look, when you make an incision, you cut in. When you make a decision, you cut out. So it's one thing setting the goal, but I've got to look them in the eye and I've got to say, okay, when you've set this goal, you're making this decision, what are you willing to cut out? Because in order to hit your goals, it's not always what you're going to do. Sometimes it's what you are no longer willing to do. So successful people get to the point where they ask themselves, what am I no longer willing to tolerate in myself? And that's where the shift comes in. There's no pressure. There's no hustle. It's just a decision. So I want you to do something for me. Pick one standard that you are willing to raise starting from today. Not 10, not 5, just one. Now, that standard could be, I don't lie to myself anymore. Or the standard could be, I show up on time every time. Or I keep my commitments to myself. And then once you've done that, you quietly, consistently, without drama, without drawing attention, or going and making posts on social media or sending messages to your friends, you quietly, you consistently, without drama, you start living that standard on a daily basis. That's how the change sticks. That's how your goals are achieved. What we're doing here is preparation. It's about thinking differently. It's about choosing deliberately and raising your internal bar. Now, if you're serious about turning your knowledge, your ideas, and your skills into real money, I've created my 20-point business ready checklist for you. It will tell you exactly where you are in business right now, and it will tell you exactly what you need to do next. It's free. There is a link in the description box underneath. Fill it out. It's going to be useful to you, and then come back and let's get on with the work. If this video has helped you to think differently, then please like it. If you know somebody who could use this information, then please share it. And if you want to continue on this journey with me, then subscribe, because soon I'm going to be introducing the framework behind this way of thinking. I call it titanium thinking. It's something that I've used for most of my life. And remember, you don't change your life by trying harder. You change it by deciding who you are, then raising your standards to match that, and then refusing to go backwards. That decision is always available to you. So keep on being amazing, and I'll speak to you in the next episode. Feeling good? Want more results like this? Let's keep that momentum going with this video here. Also, click on my head here to subscribe.